Hey friends, welcome to the Optimize Online Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Barnes, and this is the 1 year anniversary of the show. For those of you who have been around for a whole year, and some of you have listened to every single episode, and I just want to take a moment to appreciate every single one of you. Now, I know there's been times where I've missed an episode, and there have been times where I've just kind of, ghosted my audience, and I'm so sorry about that. But I want to let you know that I do plan on keeping this show going. We'll be using this more simplified format in terms of creating and filming the podcast. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, I'm simply on my iPhone filming via a story style video. But I do have I now am recording with this new microphone. It's not a lavalier. Is it a lavalier? I don't know. Anyways, it's a really tiny microphone. And although it is not my giant fancy microphone that I usually have for the podcast, at least this one, the sound will be a little bit better than some of my previous story style podcast. I have said that I enjoy filming in this format because it is easier for me, and the longer it takes for me to set up my podcasting equipment, the less likely I'm going to record an episode. So today I'm going to talk about the season 2 of Optimize Online Marketing Podcast and what we're going to be doing over the next few months at least. I may be changing directions halfway through, but there's something that I want to do at least at the beginning of season 2. And today officially marks season 2. So I'm really excited about that. We made it through a whole year, so now we're in season 2. But the big thing that I wanted to do is actually go through the process of creating an online offer and then show you guys the behind the scenes. So I thought it'd be a fun little experiment to create an offer and then show you the behind the scenes of how I'm doing it. So far I already have an offer in mind. I'm currently in the validation stage of it. And so in my next episode, I'm going to be talking about how I actually validate the offer idea. And then I'm literally going to be going through the steps that I do inside of the Optimize Offer Oasis. So the exact same steps that I teach you inside of the Optimize Offer Oasis, how to create and validate your offer, as well as how to launch and scale it. I'm going to be following the same exact formula. Okay, so I may be changing things here and there as I go. And again, for you as well, if you're in the Optimize Online community and you have gone through this program, there are certain things that you may add, that you may take away, that you may change up, and that is totally fine. The Optimize Offer Oasis is simply a framework to help you create and grow your online offer. So I'm going to be taking that same method and then applying it to my new online offer, which I'm going to tell you about in just a moment. And we're going to watch exactly how I go through this process. So this new offer that I'm working on is event marketing for online coaches and course creators who want to create their own in-person live events. I have been doing events for quite some time. I think as early as 2016, I hosted my first live event, and it was not only my first live event, but it was a huge hit. And then from then on, I've been hosting live events as sort of like side quests, side projects, different things here and there. Everything I've done has been a nonprofit or not-for-profit agencies, but I was like, okay, cool. This sounds like something that I could potentially teach other online marketers how to do because I've had so much success with it. Right now, I'm currently in the validation stage of the online offer process. So currently, I'm validating the idea, and I'm going to take you behind the scenes. I'm going to show you exactly how many people are actually looking for someone to help them with event marketing, which there's definitely demand, but I want to get some good numbers. And so for my next episode, I'm going to be talking about the validation process. And then as I go through building out this offer, I want to share with you exactly what I'm coming up against, some of the obstacles. And this is kind of going to be a fun little experiment because then you get to watch me create this offer in real time. Now, this experiment could fail at any point. It could even fail at the validations phase, at which point I would have to go back to the drawing board or decide to scrap it altogether. And I am giving myself permission to scrap the project if need be. And if I do, I will tell you why. But for now, we're in the validation stage. And let's say it doesn't pass the validation stage. If I decide to keep going, then I will retweak the offer or retweak my audience so that it does pass that validation stage. But that validation stage really is the biggest hurdle amongst this entire offering. Is if you don't get past the validation stage, then you really don't have an offer. So that's really important. Now, I will tell you that I have tried to offer something similar to this before. Originally, the idea was to help people who wanted to host K-pop events because that's kind of been the area that I've been in mostly. And I wanted to show others how to create and sell out K-pop events. And so it's something that I thought would be a great idea. And I still think it's a good idea, but in terms of scaling or scalability, whatever that word is, in terms of like, are there enough people who want to learn this that I could actually create and sell an offer around it? It wasn't that big. Now, technically I can do it, but I was thinking about all of the details of like what goes into a K-pop event. And I'm like, I don't really want to go into the details of actually the event itself. Like people were asking like where to find who makes cup sleeves. Mainly what most K-pop events are is that they offer a little cup sleeve like you do at Starbucks. Like you have your little coffee cup. So, you have the little cup and then you have the sleeve that goes around it that says Starbucks on it. But instead of the Starbucks logo, it has a custom design that says happy birthday. Usually it's like a birthday. So for example, today is Hobie's birthday. So J-Hope of BTS. Of course, I got to sneak in a K-pop reference whenever I can, but it's J-Hope of BTS. Today is his birthday. And what a lot of people are doing, a lot of cafes will have happy birthday J-Hope cup sleeves. And so they do that to draw people into the boba shop, coffee shop, whatever it is. And originally that's how it started. And it expanded into being full on celebrations where they have the cup sleeve and then they have vendors that sell fan made merch. And then they also sometimes they'll have music, sometimes they'll have dance contests or, different games, scavenger hunts, all kinds of things. Anyways, it's become a huge thing. And so there has been an explosion of cup sleeve events, which originated in Korea, but now have like just dominated globally. You can find cup sleeves pretty much anywhere that there is K-pop. But I wanted to show people how to create cup sleeve events because a lot of people were asking, a lot of people were interested. But cup sleeves is not a big thing that people are willing to invest money on, or at least learning about how to do it. Generally in the cup sleeve community, all of the information is free and all of the information is kind of available to everyone. We don't gatekeep anything. And it was not something that I really wanted to gatekeep, but I was like, okay, maybe I can add like a VIP coaching element. But again, it's not something it's something that people want, but it's not something that's high in demand enough that it's going to scale. And so that's where I had to shelve the idea, put it on a back burner, and then it just kind of sat there. So I kind of had this idea that I want to teach people how to host K-pop. And then I had to put it on the back burner. Now, this new idea is a little bit different because I haven't necessarily sold tickets for anything like a mastermind, a workshop, or retreat. However, it's the same concept of live events. And I'm actually currently working with a woman here in Orlando to help her sell tickets for her retreat. And I am also open to looking for other marketers. So if you are an online marketer, you have an in-person event, and you want help selling that, please message me, let me know. I am more than happy to help you in these early stages to help validate this process. But essentially, that is who I want to work with. I want to work online coaches and course creators who have an in-person event, such as a mastermind or workshop, in-person workshop, simple one-day events. That's kind of where the sweet spot is. Now, if you have a multi-day event, I can absolutely help with that. I am actually really great with logistics in terms of not just event marketing, but also event logistics, how things work, the flow of the guests, et cetera, all of that. And so I am great at both event logistics as well as event marketing. That said, now one of the reasons I have actually done really well in event marketing in the first place is because I took what I learned from online marketing and then applied that to my events. So similarly, when it comes to what I know about event marketing and K-pop industry or K-pop events, I'm taking what I've learned from K-pop events and vendor markets and now applying them into in-person events, in-person retreats, masterminds, workshops, that sort of thing. And if I can take what I've learned about online marketing and apply it to event marketing and make it work, I can definitely take what I've learned about event marketing and then apply it to in-person retreats, masterminds, that sort of thing. So I'm really excited about kind of making this shift back into the online space. I say back into the online space because I've been working primarily in the event space and I have been working in the K-pop world. And I think it would be so cool. And this is why I'm really excited about this. I think it would be so cool to take what I know about marketing, vendor markets, K-pop events, and take that and take that and apply that to in-person retreats, masterminds, workshops, that sort of thing, all of these in-person events and selling out ticketed events. So that is what I'm up to. That is what I'm going to be creating and working on for these next few months. And I'm going to let you know how all of that goes. Again, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has been a part of this show. This show will continue to evolve. It won't always have the same format. It won't always stay the same. I just kind of do this thing where I quote unquote follow the thread. And this is something that I encourage you to do as well, where you kind of have an idea and you follow it. And so back in 2022, late 2022, early 2023, I hosted my very first K-pop event. Even though like I have done the the vendor market before, this was the first time venturing into K-pop. And I took in I do this thing where I apply what I've known from something else and apply it to something new. And in this case, I was kind of following the thread of like, okay, cool. You know, it would be fun to host a cup sleeve event. Let me try it out. And I did that. And again, massive success right out of the gate. And so this is the second time that I've like managed to host an event in a completely new space and it took off. And so I'm noticing this thing. I have this brain where like being able to host an event, understanding event logistics and then understanding marketing. And I was like, I'm onto something here. And so if I hadn't followed that thread, if I hadn't followed that road of curiosity of like, I don't know where this is going to take me. Cup sleeves aren't necessarily something that I want to do full time. Like I'm not going to be hosting cup sleeve events forever, but something here, and I'm just going to keep hosting them until something pops up. And so I still continue to host K-pop events in different ways. It's not necessarily always a cup sleeve event, but I've hosted meetups and different things like that. I even did a dinner, which, oh my gosh, the In Your Fantasy Masquerade Ball dinner, that was also a weird instant success. I had 3 weeks to host. No, I went from idea to concept to event. Like we had the idea on like a Friday. We had less than a month to sell tickets and actually pull the event off. And let me tell you, the scale of this event and the amount of marketing that went into, and to be able to pull this off in less than a month was absolutely insane. And so it's one of those things that I'm going to teach you about. I am going to be creating a new show for the event marketing podcast, which is going to be coming up later. But yeah, the event marketing for that, like being from idea to execution, less than a month, absolutely insane. Sold all the tickets. Sorry, my timer cut off. Where was I? In Your Fantasy dinner. Again, one of the reasons why I want to talk about event marketing is because it is something that I can talk about all day long. Originally, I had something else in mind that I was going to do. I was going to do a branding and graphics course, but creating that content, creating that course was like pulling teeth. It's something that I had knowledge on, but I wasn't particularly excited about. I wasn't excited about teaching it. I wasn't excited about creating templates. Like I was excited about none of it. And it has been months since I was supposed to get this finished and I haven't been able to do anything. But now that I've switched over to event marketing, this is something that I'm finding that is something that I truly want to do, love to do, and could talk about all the time. I have no shortage of topics when it comes to event marketing. When I realized that, I'm like, cool, this is a thread that I should follow. And so that's kind of how I stumbled upon, creating an offer about event marketing, because it is something that I can talk about. It is something that I'm excited about. I have content ideas all day long. And similarly, when you are creating your online offer, you want to pick something that has that same feel where it's like, I can talk about this all day long. For one thing, I could talk about online marketing all the time, which is why I have this podcast. And then to be even more niche, to be even more specific, and creating content that people are specifically looking for. For example, like how to market an in-person event. Again, so a few people have already asked me, how do you do your ticket sales? How could I apply it to my event? And so I was like, let me kind of like put something together and see how I can do it. And it's surreal, really, to just kind of come across this idea, because I'm like, okay, cool. I think I finally found something that clicks for me in terms of creating content. So I love event marketing. I love hosting events, even more so than online marketing. Don't tell my online marketing friends that, But yeah, so event marketing is kind of where it's at for me. So this is the direction that I'm going. This is the direction that I'm taking, and I'm excited for it. And I hope you guys will be too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it was a little bit, kind of here and there and not really structured, but I hope it gave you some ideas in terms of like validating your offer, creating your offer, and building out an offer that excites you. So if you got anything out of that, awesome. I did my job and I am happy. Thank you for celebrating with me. Happy 1 year anniversary and happy Hopi Day. All right, take care, guys. I'll see you on the next one.